together. Throw another one at me, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just
that was good, man. I mean, I'm kind of still on the. There was a part you touched on. You said there was a part you said that women are more into astrology than men. Now, I noticed that, but what makes you say that, and why is that so? Because my girl is definitely into the whole spiritism stuff.
Talk about the Neanderthal.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie.
Come on, man.
I ain't gonna lie.
Come on, man.
I'm messing with a girl.
Come on, brother.
I'm messing with a.
Don't tell me you got a new Neanderthal.
No. I'm messing with the same Russian chick. But I'm trying to see when can I separate myself, because.
Brother, listen. If you don't want to listen, don't. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I don't condone that. I don't support that.
Right.
That was something you was involved with before we really got to certain levels. But we have a duty, or let me say I have a duty, because I can't say your ass got a duty because you laying with the damn devil. But I have a duty to always express and let it be known that you are lying with your polar opposite on this plane as a human being.
Okay.
She is taking your divinity every time you lay with her. This is fact. We can go into, matter of fact, this is a good topic to go into. Hold on, man. Let me just text this one back. Yes, yeah, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I know I'm still recording right now. I done got all quiet and shit. But yes, it is an absolute fact. It's called microchirmism. microcherism. This is the science of the fact that every female absorbs whatever male they lay with. Every time you exchange fluids, whether it's seminal fluid, whether it's saliva, whatever it is, if it's bodily fluid, blood, it doesn't matter. If it's bodily fluid, it becomes absorbed within her, and that includes your DNA. Okay? This is another reason, I think we might have talked about this before, or maybe with somebody else. This is another reason why, if you notice, white women are beginning to look more black. And when I say look more black, I don't mean as far as their complexion, so on and so forth. I mean their bodies are looking different, right. Their traits, their likes, the way they talk. They're adopting a certain form of genetic aspect due to the fact that they out there guzzling a whole bunch of black niggas nuts. Right. You see what I'm saying? It's just real talk. And I'm just talking real talk. It sounds vulgar, but this is real talk. And we can even get into the fact that sperm is liquid light. And see, and it's so funny because white people have demonized the sexual energy of women and made black women so disgusted with being sexual with their men, while white women is literally guzzling gallons of black cum on videos, all type of shit. And we don't even understand, if you study these porn stars, right. Look at them carefully. They don't age. They look better than the celebrities. Yeah. The celebrities age terribly. But for some strange reason, and I know because I'm a freak motherfucker, I watch porn like a motherfucker. If you look at these porn stars, right. They age gracefully. Like, it's ridiculous. The white ones, I'm talking about the white ones. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. But the white movie stars, they age terrible. Oh, yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because it's an absolute fact. This can be researched and looked up. Not only does sperm have certain vitamins, amino acids, antidepressants in it, but on top of that, black men have a different frequency of biological, chemical, and vitamin and vital aspect in their body. Okay? All women, black or white, are absorbent. Why? Because the feminine principle is magnetic. That means it attracts things, it absorbs things, it consumes things, it receives things. Right. So every time you lay with her, and remember, man is the emitter. Okay? That's why electricity shocks you. Yeah. Because man is the emitter. He is the activator. He is the pursuer. Right. Okay? He is the intensity. He's the one that's coming at you. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're giving off your DNA. You're giving off your genetic code. You're giving off your genetic frequency, and she's absorbing it all. And it's so funny because if you notice, well, once you go black, you never go back, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this shit is corny lines. Right, but what happens is when they start consuming black men, they almost get addicted to it. It becomes, it's like they just feel the difference. Right. And then it becomes almost a form of feeding. They're feeding off of you. You see what I'm saying? And people can feed off your energy without the biological fluid aspect. They can feed off your energy by just being in your presence. And if you ever notice, and I noticed this, when I started learning this science, I had to look way back into my past when I used to work around a lot of white people and be around them. They come real close to you when they talk. They're always digging in your business. They're always trying to ask you for information about what you like and how you eat. And they just... And they're not conscious of what they're doing because it's part of their nature. They're parasites.
Right.
They feed off you. So I'm not saying they know what they're doing because a lot of them don't know they're doing it. Right. It's just their nature to feed off you. You ever notice you get around them, they agree with everything you say. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that music too. I love rap. Oh man, I ate chicken wings one day all day. I love chicken wings. Like they just say dumb shit. Not even understanding how racist it sounds, but they're just trying so hard to make sure they can consume as much of you as they can. Right. And they know if they offend you, you're going to separate from them. And they need to feed off you. Right. So it is absolute fact that when we as melanated 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9 ether people lay with this 2-strand recessive, pheomelanin, sulfur based, we are giving them our divinity. When it comes to the women, we're giving them our divinity because they are magnetic, just like our women are magnetic. They're just magnetic in a very low way. Right. Our women are magnetic in a high way, but you're still giving your divinity to her. You see what I'm saying? So, and at the same time, you're losing pieces of yourself. You see what I'm saying? It drains you. You see, it drains you. So this is absolute fact. Once again, it's called microtermism. Right. And also, by the way, let me just expand on that aspect. It is also a fact that when they lay with a certain person for long enough time, exchanging certain forms of DNA and fluid with that person consistently, they can pass on the traits and the genetics of that person to future offspring, even if it's not the offspring of that person. Okay. Meaning what? If a black woman lays with a white man for a year, exchanging fluid with him, absorbing his body, absorbing his chemical makeup. She leaves that white man, go marry a black man, gives birth to a child by that black man. That black child, even though the child still look black, might even come out with green eyes, might come, small tiny things that we seem to not explain will be within that child because she has passed on that trait. This is all, I know it sounds crazy, but you can look this shit up. They've done the experiments on it because it's a fact that every man or woman lays with stays within her body for the minimum of 9 years and to life. Right. Now it's really for life, but I've also heard that sometimes it's for 9 years. I would say life, but I'm adding in the 9 too, because when the ones hearing this begin to study it, they might find the 9 years. But 99% of this study has found out. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the studies I came across, they actually did an autopsy on, I believe, 200 women. Mm-hmm. They cut open their brain and they found Y chromosome within their brain. Now remember, the Y chromosome comes from the male. Right. Now out of the woman, they found Y chromosome and only 2 to 3 of them had sons. Now see, what are we saying? The only way for the woman to have the Y chromosome is if she gave birth to a son, because the son would have been in her body. Okay. But the others that had Y chromosomes, they didn't have no sons. So where did the Y chromosome come from? They found out the Y chromosome came from ex-lovers. And because the man carries the Y chromosome. The man carries the Y. The woman carries the X. All right. You see what I'm saying? And as they began to do further autopsy, they found out that every man or woman lays with, she absorbs his DNA for life. Mm. Not only does she absorb his DNA, she absorbs 4 generations of each man. Now this ties into the ancient form of polygamy. Meaning, what am I saying? You've been laying with your Neanderthal. Right. She has not only absorbed you, she's probably absorbed traits of your uncle, traits of your aunt, and traits of people that are within the 4 steps of generation. It only goes back 4. It doesn't go further than 4. Okay. So if you pay attention to her, it's funny too, because if we don't, this is why I always teach intelligence and observation. You ever notice you with a woman and when you with her long enough, all of a sudden she has new tastes and new traits? And you're like, damn, where'd you get this tuna fish and mayonnaise from, bitch? I don't remember you liking that. I don't know. I just had this craving. You see what I'm saying? Okay. But then you find out, you go, that's so funny because my cousin loves that. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because they're absorbers.
Okay.
And they absorb everything. They absorb their environment. They absorb other people's energies and problems. They absorb your blood, your DNA, all of that stuff. They're magnetic. They can't help that. They can't stop that no matter how much they try. They can't stop it.
Right.
And what happens is, after a while, this constant and consistent absorption begins to change traits within them. And they begin to have certain urges and certain tastes that are always seem to be changing by moments. Because what they're doing is they're living out the absorption in DNA that they have absorbed from the past that they just don't know exists. Or because they're not aware of it, because nobody teaches this.
Okay.
This is another reason, now tie this into polygamy. This is another reason why when we practice polygamy for the men, we can marry any woman.
Right.
But polygyny, which was the practice for the woman, she only was allowed to marry men that were related. So for her to have 4 or 5 husbands, all the husbands had to be either brothers or first cousins. Why is that? Because of course, if she got 4 or 5 husbands, guess what? She fucking 4 or 5 niggas. So to make sure we protected her DNA and her genetic makeup, those men had to be related. Because then she would not be absorbing multiple DNA. She would have the same DNA, even though she's sleeping with multiple men. You see, the way to expand that even further into the whore concept, which never existed with us. But let's say she wanted to be a hoe, and she was like, "All right, I got 4 husbands, they all brothers, but you know what? I want to fuck more niggas." So she would have to pick 4 other brothers from one family, 4 other brothers from another family, 4 other brothers or 5, whatever, it doesn't matter, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, from another family. And once she got up to 4 different genetics, she would have to stop. Because once you go past the 4th generation, you actually begin to manipulate your DNA. Now, I'm going to go into that. What do I mean by that? All right. DNA works in a generational aspect.
Right.
The 4 generations of DNA is what changes the template of you. This is how races are born, by the way. Remember, there's only 3 archetypes of humans on the planet. There's the Caucasoid, there's the Africoid/Congoid. I'm giving you the titles that they give. Okay. There's the Africoid/Congoid, which is the oldest, which is you. And then there's the Mongoloid, okay? That's it.
The Asian.
That's it. There's no Spanishoid.
Right.
There's no Aryanoid. There's, you know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. Now, what happens is these 3 archetypes blend with each other at different points in times and create this so-called new race. Here's how it works. Let's say you and the Neanderthal, y'all have a mulatto baby.
Okay.
That mulatto baby is the 1st generation mulatto.
Right.
That mulatto baby has sex with another mulatto baby. That's a 2nd generation mulatto.
Right.
That 2nd generation mulatto baby has sex with another mulatto baby. That's a 3rd generation mulatto.
Okay.
Then that mulatto baby has sex with another mulatto baby. Now they're in the 4th generation. You know what happens? That template locks. Okay. It locks in itself genetically, meaning what? Meaning now, from that 4th generation on, all the people from there are going to look like that mulatto. Now, what am I naming right now? Spanish. That's what I'm naming. Okay. Because remember, the so-called Latino, Hispanic, which these are arbitrary terms, but they were created from the mixture. Let's go to the furthest we can go back. We can go to Carthaginian time, which Carthage is in Africa, and the time where they were going against the Romans. Okay? Now, the first mixtures of those were giving birth to the first so-called, whatever you want to call them, Latino, whatever. Right. Then after that, we also have to remember, all these places had forms of color caste systems that, of course, were brought in by white people. Right. So, you a dark motherfucker. You in Panama or whatever. Right. They call you a moreno because you black. Right. You still Spanish, but you dark. Basically. You are not desired because you're too dark. You don't even desire dark skin, so you know who you go look for to fuck? A light-skinned woman. Right. Your baby, who comes out of that light-skin, dark-skin combination, grows up in a society where dark skin is frowned upon. So you know who they have sex with? A light skin. Right. You getting where I'm going? Yeah. So now you're breeding within yourself over and over again, creating what? Creating a race. Right. It's the same thing with the Arabs. The Arabs are the newest branch on this planet. They're the newest branch of so-called race. They're not a race, but so-called race. Why is that? So-called Islam and these so-called aspects of these fake-ass religion have confided them in an ass. Same thing with the Jews. Has confided them in a point where you get outcast for going outside of your group.
Basically.
So if
like the Asians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I just said with the mulatto. You came together with a white girl.
Right.
You make a mulatto. That mulatto is the very first generation. That mulatto makes a mulatto. The mulatto makes a mulatto. Now you look at a community full of mulattoes. All of them are taught to never have sex with anybody darker than them. Or let me not say that. They're taught that dark is ugly. They're taught that nappy hair is ugly. They're taught that big noses and big lips is ugly. So what do they start doing? They start breeding with themselves over and over again, creating a locked template. And we now refer to it as Hispanic or Spanish. Right. We now refer to it as Arab or Eurasian, Middle Eastern, whatever dumb, miscellaneous title you want to put on it. But they're not a race. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So this is how these so-called races came about. And that's how genetic works. Now, I'll put it to you the opposite way. Let's say you want to bring back your template. Because if you ever notice, this happens in a lot of families where the family will be like light-skinned Spanish and all of a sudden a baby will pop up that's dark. Right. They'll be like, how did this happen? Because what happened is somebody messed up within the 3 generations. And within the 3 generations, a dark mulatto, a dark moreno came in. Right. And it popped back up the original template. Okay. That's how it works. Now, if they never deferred from the color cast system of keeping it light skinned, after the 4th generation, that really wouldn't happen because the template would have been locked. Okay. So a mulatto can bring back the template. It's possible.